it gives me great honour to present to you some of the thoughts that our analysts at Novum Insights have been looking at in the metaverse market. So we've been tracking the crypto space for about 5 years now. Team of analysts and data scientists, super excited about the space. I really love all of the metaverse and NFT space and all of crypto, really. I mean, it's always endlessly fun and endlessly intriguing. I know Daniel asked it to be a bit more of a debate, so we're also going to look at metaverse beyond the hype and try and it's a very good question. Like everything in crypto, there's sliding doors galore, and not everything is real or as it seems, but it is very exciting. So as a sector, I don't think many people, except sort of fans of Neil Stephenson and those kind of people, actually who wrote the famous book Snow Crash, knew what the metaverse was 2 years ago, probably 2-3 years ago. It was largely quite nerdy sci-fi fans. Now you have sort of every single sort of major tech company deciding it's calling itself a metaverse company. And we've seen more than $10 billion invested into metaverse projects, which is pretty astounding and reminds you very much of the sort of, I guess, the 2018, 2017 crypto era kind of build it and they will come, and it's a lot of fun. There's a huge number of sort of household names doing it. I think the one that really made everyone stand up and probably fall off their chair or whatever was Facebook deciding to transform its name to Meta, and you probably had a whole bunch of corporate analysts going, what the hell is Meta? But from that moment, you had SoftBank investing in Sandbox, Adidas partnering with the Bored Apes and the Punks and whatever, Nike buying a company I always find very hard to pronounce, but it's called Artifact. I used to call it sort of RTFKT. But anyway, and then Samsung opening stores in Decentraland. Nearly every single corporate, to try and pretend they're cool nowadays, goes like, I'm opening something in Decentraland. And you have this slightly pathetic stand owned by one of these large corporations in Decentraland or the Sandbox. But they are good. We should have had a visual in this slide, but Google. And then obviously, like the big one, front page of the Financial Times, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, maker of World of Warcraft. No, not the other one. But anyway, for 73 billion. Anyway, a huge gaming company, and was pretty astounding, and sort of, I think, shows, like, the way I look at it is you've got decentralized world, which I suspect more people in this room are from, with Ethereum and all the different blockchains and people building it out. And you've got these big corporate Goliaths going, where do they play in the metaverse? And some of the furthest ahead are probably on the corporate side, not mainnet Ethereum and sort of DeFi side, where actually is probably where more of the real things that are actually metaverse going on, and transactions in a metaverse-like manner are going on. There's a huge amount of activity there, but you've got value chains that the likes of Microsoft and others are building. So Facebook, Meta, famously bought Oculus a number of years ago, and possibly very insightfully, it's sort of you've got Microsoft, which also has sort of major VR headsets, and a lot of the value chain of the metaverse is being owned by these entities. I think I saw a stat the other day that still 80% of activity on apps in smartphones are in the Meta-controlled universe. So Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, that sort of almost all of activity is actually going on in that land. And then if you think about it, they're looking to control the sort of the interface to the metaverse with being quite far ahead with Oculus and these kind of things. The good thing is that a lot of people also actively distrust Meta and Facebook because of Cambridge Analytica and just some of their policies towards how they use data and just the way they've handled some things in a corporate way. So fortunately, I really hope we're not going to end up with a monopoly of the metaverse by giant corporation Meta, but it is something to be concerned about. But it is a very interesting end-to-end strategy that them, Microsoft, Google, you name it, they will roll out these strategies in different ways. And being corporations, they will try and get as much inside their walled garden as possible. And obviously we've got the likes of Animoca, which is probably the corporate that's investing most heavily in some of the darlings of the metaverse, Miller, Gucci, you name it, Nike even going into NFTs. But can't really imagine that it's going to go very far. But anyway, there are all sorts of activity, art, music, fashion, virtual worlds, galleries, VR, AR, you name it, that are being sort of taken apart by these kind of things. I think it's incredibly exciting. In terms of the origins of the metaverse, I think there's been metaverse plays for a long while. Some of us here may have been messing around with Second Life like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. A lot of the early crypto people who spotted the crypto trend sort of had come across the virtual objects of Second Life and those kind of things and intuitively leapt towards crypto. You got Fortnite, obviously, Minecraft, Roblox. Anyone with kids or exposure to young people these days will have heard probably all three of these mentioned. So there's a lot of, I guess, Web 2 metaverse plays. But I think what's got most people sort of, I guess, opining on where the metaverse is going is the NFT frenzy. We've got the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think it's now got a $4 billion valuation from Andreessen Horowitz. And I imagine almost, does everyone know what a Bored Ape is? Is there anyone who doesn't? Oh, cool. So that's good. But anyway, they're very fun sort of group, I think, of 10,000 Bored Apes that you can own. They've got to a pretty astounding valuation, like their big rivals, the CryptoPunks. I think there was a bit of the floor of the Bored Apes and the CryptoPunks is always sort of vying for attention. The CryptoPunks, just because they've been around since 2017, have been sometimes trade in the millions. That also happens with the apes, but it's an interesting hoo-ha. A lot of the new NFT projects, I think we've got Doodle and Sad Girl. So these are really, the great thing about NFTs is they run the gamut from things that you can pick up for 0.001 Ethereum or something to astounding sums of money and play around. and what's nice is you sort of get all these stories of like the illustrator for the Bored Ape Yacht Club who suddenly has 10 Bored Apes or something from the day of when they did it. So it's kind of a fun ecosystem that is I think from an investment point of view, super interesting, just because there's a constrained supply of these things. There's typically the biggest craze, that the punks, the apes, which are, I guess, really designed to be your avatar, your way of wandering around the metaverse, at least in the abstract. Generally, there aren't many. The utility is often very limited on NFTs, but I think that's speeding up dramatically. Someone there I share an office with, who's doing a metaverse startup, quite an interesting group called Freedom. He's taken over he couldn't afford a Bored Ape, but he got a Bored Ape yacht leasing company. So he's now leasing yachts to Bored Apes. And that's one of the few things they can do in the metaverse. But it's a silly world. But, and for this reason, we've got lots of celebrities coming in. We've got Snoop Dogg. We've got like loads of artists. I think and we're going to look at the numbers in a second. You've got the gaming world and how that might end up playing as the metaverse. I think the way that play-to-earn games evolve and get into sort of metaverse-like activity beyond transactions, sort of virtual activity and all these kind of things. The big standout success has been Axie, which is allowing various different people, I think a lot of them in the Philippines, but in different areas around the world, to earn a living by gaming. And there's new sort of communities and ways of life springing up around these things where people can earn more than being a taxi driver or waiting in a bar by playing a game. And actually we know, like, in sort of games leagues, that can be very good, but this is just a game activity. Anyway, there will be better people on these topics, but and then there's various lands, so you've got Sandbox and Decentraland, and areas where you can buy real estate, and you're getting people trying to sort of stake a claim in metaverse-like areas where you can play. Obviously, we've had the celebrities make a run at it. Like I said, Snoop Dogg has been big in many ways. Steve Aoki, intriguingly, thinks he's earned more from his NFT trading than he ever did as a DJ, which is quite a good cooling card for the whole thing. And then Paris Hilton is all over the place, like Steve. As ever, right? That's life. I've always thought of like a successful groups of these NFT collections, kind of like super scarce private members clubs, Soho House style, like BAYC. Yeah, it's got Eminem, it's got whoever, Logan Paul, whoever you name it, picking up these things, and it's sort of the latest bragging rights of these super scarce things where at the end of the day there's only 10,000 of them that can be owned by people, and various people own quite a few more. So the market economics would come if your bragging rights to own one of these things and stake your identity around them. It becomes quite intriguing. It's like, why end up buying like a World of Women a while ago? Because there's and the other sort of thing, because they're very interesting, because they seem to grow very, very quickly. I guess there's the wider metaverse ecosystem. You've got sort of the building blocks, and I guess what I was trying to talk about end to end of what the different corporates are going to try and earn, you've got to think about the infrastructure behind it, the blockchains, the network bandwidth, the computing power. You've got to look at the hardware, the VR, AR headsets, your haptic gloves, whatever tools we're going to be moving around. I think it's going to be constantly evolving and faddish and whatever, but it'll be very fun how the interface of the metaverse plays out. Obviously, hardware is hard, as everyone knows, so sadly that's why it ends up often in the remit of the big corporations. And there was, I guess, Magic Leap seems to have sort of fallen by the wayside a lot, and was a big contender on a more independent note, but probably slightly mismanaged. And then you have the likes of, then you've got the financing, investing, which I suspect is where many of us now are playing around. So you can join a guild in Axie to provide some resource for metaverse gamers doing stuff on Axie or the other platforms. You can invest in different tokens and NFTs just as an individual or sort of wider. The launch pads are very, very interesting if you're looking to play around with it. I find them quite frustrating because you need to sort of click through various different steps and don't really know, and end up going, is this $500 I'm chucking in this thing going to do anything, and was it worth all the effort? But it's a lot of fun, and like we've got someone who in the sort of little Novum Insights trading discussion group who I think got like more than 100x from one of the launchpad investments he did. So they are worth it if you can be bothered to do the work. And then yeah, you'll get NFT-fi. So we've got like some important DeFi founders in this room. You'll begin going like, how do you get staking on your NFTs, earning tokens, and unfortunately, a lot of those projects are quite Ponzi-like in their behavior, so they're all about like shilling additional tokens and things. But they're very good if you get in early. But you're sort of, my heart always sinks as to when I see how they're designed. And that is the thing about crypto. It's a very hype-driven space where you've just got to be super careful. But there's brands being built in the metaverse, marketplaces, payments being made, advertising being done, virtual goods and services being done. I mean, this is, the commerce side of it is kind of the sort of dirty secret behind it, and why, like, as when you sort of look at Adidas and whoever, like I think there was quite a famous Twitter exchange of Facebook and Pepsi and Burger King or someone had opened up, and they were like GM bro and GM bro having Pepsi and Facebook and Meta, and I mean it is slightly ridiculous because you've got all these people going, yeah, we're going to sell stuff to people in the metaverse. It's like, well, we didn't want to buy your stuff there, so do we want to buy it here? But fair play to you. And then you've got the metaverse projects that are gaming focused, everyday life focused, and I think it'll be interesting how the narrative of these things as they get more sophisticated evolve. You've got everyday experiences, like there's a whole host, and I think we can share this presentation of the group. There's a whole host of groups staking their claim on it. Probably Decentraland and Sandbox are the furthest ahead. A number of these other groups are very interesting, and you can dive into them. In terms of the market cap of the gaming platforms, Axie kind of dwarfs a lot of them. So $3 billion plus, super popular, like lots of people are playing around with it. It's very much, I think they claimed the other day that they have more users than Ethereum or something on their little side chain. But it's interesting. A lot of the other groups are classic crypto stuff where no game has been developed. There's nothing you can do on it, but they've already got to a 50 million, 300 million market cap. So it's a very highly speculative but interesting arena. And yeah, you're obviously and unsurprisingly, like a lot of the activity is being built on Ethereum. So Sandbox, Decentraland, Axie has its own blockchain, but there's stuff that's being done on Ethereum, taken on Ethereum, and there's obviously the sort of people gravitate towards there because it's where a lot of the big pockets in crypto are, and there's a sort of it's a obvious place to do business. What is also true, however, everyone in crypto will be thinking this right away, is the bloody gas prices are extortionate sometimes. I mean, there was I think there was someone that only this week, and it might have been a profitable trade actually, I get my analysts to run the numbers, but ended up spending 100 Ether in gas to buy 1,000 NFTs. So 100 Ether is a lot of money. It's £250,000 on gas someone spent, or $250,000 on gas, give or take. Hopefully the Ukraine situation hasn't seen it drop even further, but we'll see. I'm sorry. But you've got people building on the likes of Binance Smart Chains, Solana, Polygon. There's new games springing up, and the advantage of these chains is they're much cheaper and easier to do actual gaming activities on. Right?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Is it cheaper to build on Ethereum? That's why they go on Ethereum, or is it because it's easier to get developers to build on Ethereum because they have the skills to build on Ethereum, or is it because it's a bigger
Yeah, I think it's
thing?
to do with who they can sell to at the end of the day. So Ethereum is almost like the capital markets of crypto. It's like kind of where everyone is at the moment, who's doing meaningful things. But it's got this Achilles heel that will probably never be solved, right? Like I think everyone is saying. You'll have the side chains, you'll have the roll-ups, and things will still get logged on mainnet Ethereum. And then I think at the moment we're in the kind of really early stage. I also think like the friction on Ethereum, like for like owning a Bored Ape. I mean, if you're Paris Hilton, you don't care what the price of whey is, right? So like there's a kind of Tiffany's, Sotheby's effect of mainnet Ethereum, that it literally is more expensive. So we were having a good conversation on the sidelines before this. Like I'm super bullish on NFT projects and like metaverse stuff on other chains, and I think it has to be something. But I think you'll basically. All of the stuff in NFT and Metaverse land is early adopter territory. And so to get to a form of critical mass at the moment, it kind of probably possible on Ethereum, possible on Binance Smart Chain, possible on Polygon, possible on Solana. Chromia is an interesting one. Like it's got some, like there's been some massive gaming smash hits. Like I don't know, like I see Naomi's nodding her head, but there's something called Alice something. Alice, like does anyone know?
My neighbor Alice.
Yeah, My Neighbor Alice. So like it's got various. It's almost going to be like the gaming studios, where if a blockchain can get something that becomes really really popular. It can then get in the game and then become, which is kind of the blockchain behind Axie that they're kind of pumping at the same time as doing a lot on Ethereum. And yeah, so it's kind of like the only way to get critical mass and adoption is on Ethereum. And then if you're doing Binance Smart Chain and Polygon, it's an intriguing one. Solana, yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Like I think the thing with Solana is I think a lot of money guys are on Solana. I don't think any users are actually on Solana. It's kind of a weird one. So you had a huge pump for Star Atlas, and then if you saw our market cap now, it's like right down the top bottom right of where it used to be. And I think Star Atlas was in the billions only in market cap maybe like 6 months ago. But they didn't have a game developer, they had an amazing marketing video and stuff. Crypto being crypto, they 1000x'd and then imploded. It's interesting, right? But I think you'll just see more and more. Like I decided to buy some of the Ghazali NFTs. Did anyone come across Ghazali? Like this Southeast Asian guy who photographed his face for 300 days. And what I loved about it was we were sitting there going, he obviously did it on Polygon because it's really cheap to load stuff on Polygon. And it cost him like 20 quid. Whereas on Ethereum, it would have cost him like $3 grand or whatever to even load up the NFTs. And then he became an overnight viral success. And the guy made $100,000 in 1 week or whatever. So I bought one for historic value, but it was not a very good trade. So it's gone down 90%. But it is interesting. I kind of bought it because I do believe eventually the things on Polygon and things on like the first on any of these chains will then get big, you know. So it's very. I was advisor to a Binance Smart Chain. One called Cryptomon, which was a mixture between Pokemon and Tamagotchi, and it became wildly popular. Like people were breeding these creatures, hatching eggs, and feeding their monster. My kids had one of them, and they really like feeding it, basically. But yeah, anyway, so there's a lot of different attempts for new standards. We've got loads of newsletters on who's trying to do cool stuff. There's new ERC standards being built where you could mix token and NFT-like structures, so fungible tokens and NFT-like structures to get the two elements that you need. If you think about it, you need a gamer or an entity, and you need a currency, and if you could blend them together in some way, Engine is working on one of those standards. There's lots of things playing around on that front. On the financing side, really interesting development of the guilds. Probably quite a few of you as were in Europe met, like the Blackpool people and Julian and co, who are token, but there are a whole bunch of these like yield guild and whatever, where you can begin basically renting out and helping metaverse gamers work, and these are the financing institutions that are kind of have a mission to make money, but also try and kickstart this space and actually get it into the hands of people who use the stuff rather than just speculators. You're getting plays on using NFTs as collateral, so the DeFi plays. You're getting virtual land mortgages. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to how crazy the crypto kids get when you can begin getting a mortgage on your Bored Ape Yacht Club yacht. So yeah, anyway, lots of launch pads, all those kind of things, looking at both metaverse and gaming. You've got groups like Boson Protocol and High that are doing pretty interesting things to encourage value in space. You've got all of the virtual lands being built, and there's a war for real estate. Amazingly, someone, instead of buying like their Chelsea house, bought a plot of land in the metaverse for 2.5 million in Decentraland. And there's thriving economies in these areas. This is interesting. Probably quite a few of you actually, like this was a super generous airdrop. If you had an ENS domain, you got like $7,000 worth of tokens just wired over to you. The things cost like 10 quid. So if you had multiple wallets, there were so many people who had a house or whatever. So ENS, interesting. It's very trendy to have your .eth identity on the Bitcoin network. You can get your .btc. I'm sure you can get it elsewhere. Pretty cool development, actually. One of my favorite corporate initiatives is Twitter allows people to plug in their NFTs. But probably many people in the crypto space go, so what? Still, but Twitter's kind of like very probably riding the space well, like Discord, and you can plug your NFT on and get it verified, which is a use case. You've got groups working on self-sovereign, decentralized ID management. Really looking forward to that. It's always been one of those things we talk about in the crypto space a lot. Never really worked, but we'll see. And then you've got groups like NYAP looking to create universal internet IDs using emojis. For the millennials out there, much easier. And then so huge time spent on Twitch watching Fortnite. Anyone who's got kids, the amount of times they play on games and have trading time is a lot of fun. But it's as an investor, you like a graph, right? Huge luxury brands. I'm conscious I'm running probably pretty much over time, but thank you very much. So I've been enjoying preparing this with my analyst for the thing. Happy to answer any questions and excited to see you all in the metaverse. It's a shame we don't have like an Oculus or something. Next time.